Sometimes the most entertaining celebrity interviews are not the serious ones about movies or fame. The best moments happen when two people sit together, relax, and simply argue about random, everyday topics. That's exactly what happened when Zendaya and Robert Pattinson started debating everything from pancakes and dating rules to British food and city life. Right from the beginning, their energy felt chaotic in the funniest way possible. The conversation kicked off with a surprisingly passionate debate about American pancakes in London. Robert explained how difficult it is to find proper American-style pancakes there, insisting that if you truly want good pancakes, you basically have to make them yourself. According to him, London simply doesn't understand classic American diner food. Zendaya immediately challenged him. She argued that Robert had created this unrealistic version of London in his head, one that barely matched reality anymore. Their playful disagreement quickly turned into a full-on argument about diners, late-night restaurants, and whether London actually has places serving authentic American breakfast food. Robert kept insisting London lacked proper diners, while Zendaya defended the city passionately. At one point, they even struggled to remember the name of a restaurant, which only made the conversation funnier. What made the whole exchange entertaining wasn't really the topic itself. It was the chemistry between them. They constantly interrupted each other, joked around, and turned tiny disagreements into dramatic debates as if they were discussing world politics instead of pancakes. And honestly, that's what made people love watching them. Soon, the conversation moved toward dating and whether couples should always split the bill on dates. Surprisingly, both had slightly different opinions. Robert leaned toward the idea that splitting things fairly makes sense, while Zendaya felt it depended on the situation. She liked the idea of balance, one person paying one time, the other paying the next. But when it came to first dates, both admitted there's still something charming about someone offering to pay. Zendaya called it a small act of chivalry, while Robert joked that it becomes especially attractive when someone secretly pays the bill without making a big deal about it. According to him, there's something comforting about knowing the other person wants to take care of you too. The discussion felt natural because neither of them was trying too hard to sound perfect or politically correct. Instead, they simply spoke honestly about modern dating in a casual, relatable way. Then came one of the funniest debates of the entire conversation: British chips versus American fries. Robert defended British chips proudly, especially the classic style served with vinegar. He argued that American fries simply don't compare to proper British chips. Zendaya completely disagreed. According to her, America wins when it comes to comfort food, especially fries. She teased British food repeatedly, joking that the UK doesn't really beat America in food categories. Robert looked personally offended by this accusation. Still, even while disagreeing, both kept laughing through the argument. They weren't trying to win. The fun came from how passionately they defended completely ridiculous topics. Things became even more entertaining when the conversation shifted towards superheroes. Since Robert Pattinson famously played Batman and Zendaya starred in Spider-Man films alongside Tom Holland, the obvious question appeared: Spider-Man or Batman? Robert immediately found himself trapped. Everyone already knew choosing Spider-Man publicly would probably violate every Batman-related contract in existence. Zendaya teased him nonstop while he struggled to answer diplomatically. He jokingly admitted he was basically legally required to disagree. That playful tension made the interview feel less like a formal celebrity appearance and more like two friends roasting each other for fun. And honestly, viewers could tell they were genuinely enjoying themselves. But the funniest section may have been the conversation about little white lies in relationships. Zendaya admitted she sometimes tells harmless lies, like saying she only needs 5 more minutes to get ready when she actually needs 20. Robert agreed that technically counts as a white lie. Then the debate became unexpectedly deep. Robert argued that honesty matters, especially if someone asks for your opinion on an outfit. If he dislikes something, he'd rather say it honestly than fake enthusiasm. Zendaya completely disagreed. According to her, if she asks whether something looks good, she usually just wants reassurance rather than brutal honesty. She joked that if she already likes the outfit, negative feedback won't change her mind anyway. Robert found this logic confusing. He insisted people shouldn't ask questions if they don't truly want honest answers. Zendaya argued relationships aren't always about complete honesty in every tiny situation. At that point, they jokingly concluded they strongly disagree on communication itself. And somehow, even their disagreements became entertaining because of how naturally they bounced off each other. That's what made the entire conversation feel special. It wasn't scripted perfection. It was messy, funny, spontaneous chaos between two people with completely different opinions trying to understand each other while still laughing nonstop. As the conversation continued, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson somehow managed to turn breakfast into one of the most dramatic topics of the entire interview. The debate started with a simple question: is breakfast actually the worst meal of the day? Robert strongly disagreed almost immediately. He defended breakfast passionately, listing pancakes, eggs, and classic breakfast foods as proof that mornings deserve more respect. To him, breakfast felt universal. No matter where you go in the world, people usually have some version of the same comforting foods. Zendaya pushed back again. She returned to the earlier pancake debate and insisted American pancakes simply cannot be recreated properly in London. Robert argued that London has plenty of places serving good breakfast food, but Zendaya refused to believe him. The argument became increasingly chaotic. Robert claimed Zendaya only thought London lacked diners because of the area she stayed in. Zendaya responded by asking where exactly people in London go late at night when they want pancakes and eggs like Americans do at diners. Robert tried naming restaurants, but struggled to remember specific places, which immediately weakened his entire argument. Everyone started laughing as he desperately attempted to prove that London does, in fact, have diners somewhere. Zendaya looked completely unconvinced. Still, despite criticizing British food repeatedly, she admitted she loves almost everything else about London. According to her, the city itself is amazing. It's just the food situation that occasionally disappoints her. Then the discussion shifted toward television and one of the most iconic sitcoms ever created, Friends. Zendaya revealed something shocking. She had only recently watched a full episode of Friends for the first time. Unlike many people who grew up obsessed with the show, she didn't really have nostalgia attached to it. That confession alone surprised a lot of people. When asked about her thoughts on the show, Zendaya admitted she enjoyed it, but still didn't feel strongly connected to the characters yet. However, she immediately said she liked Phoebe because of her strange, quirky energy. Robert disagreed again. He confessed he was more of a Joey fan. Zendaya had to ask which character Joey even was, which made the conversation even funnier. Once Robert explained it was Matt LeBlanc's character, Zendaya admitted Joey did seem fun from the little she'd seen. The funny part wasn't necessarily their opinions about Friends, it was how casual and unfiltered the entire conversation felt. Neither of them was trying to sound overly intellectual or prepared. They simply reacted honestly in real time. Then the topic became more serious. Is London the best city in the world? This time, neither fully agreed nor fully disagreed. Zendaya explained that London can feel magical during the summer, especially in August when the weather improves and the city becomes lively. But during winter, she admitted the city feels much sadder because of the cold weather and early sunsets. Robert actually agreed with her on that point. The conversation suddenly became more personal and thoughtful. Zendaya mentioned her love for New York City, while Robert talked about wanting to spend time living in Buenos Aires someday. Zendaya proudly mentioned her hometown of Oakland, describing it as a very underrated and interesting place. They also bonded over their appreciation for Mexico City. Both praised the food, architecture, and overall atmosphere there. Unlike some earlier debates where they disagreed constantly, this was one moment where they genuinely shared the same excitement. And viewers could feel the difference immediately. Their energy shifted from playful arguing to genuine admiration as they described the beauty of traveling and experiencing different cultures. That balance between comedy and sincerity is what kept the interview interesting. One moment they were fighting about pancakes. The next moment they were passionately discussing beautiful cities and life experiences. It never felt forced. Instead, it felt like listening to two intelligent, funny people having a completely unpredictable conversation without knowing where it would go next. And honestly, unpredictability is exactly what made the entire interview so entertaining. By the final part of the conversation, things became even more random and somehow even funnier. The discussion suddenly shifted toward fictional creatures, leading to one of the weirdest debates of the interview. Are vampires the hottest mythical creatures? Since Robert Pattinson famously played a vampire in Twilight, everyone expected him to strongly support vampires immediately. But surprisingly, the conversation took a completely different direction. Zendaya admitted she actually preferred other fantasy creatures more than vampires. She joked that fairies were probably just as attractive, maybe even better. Robert looked amused as the debate became increasingly ridiculous. Then Zendaya casually revealed she might choose mermaids over vampires entirely. That comment completely changed the conversation. Suddenly, they were discussing whether a vampire or a merman would win in popularity. Robert jokingly suggested Vampire vs. Merman sounded like the title of a future movie franchise. The randomness of the topic made the entire exchange hilarious because neither person seemed remotely prepared for where the conversation kept going. And somehow, that chaos worked perfectly. Soon after, they moved into another surprisingly relatable topic: public displays of affection, also known as PDA. Neither of them gave a completely clear answer right away. Instead, both agreed PDA depends entirely on the situation. Zendaya explained that affection in public can be sweet and harmless, but people also need to read the room. If everyone nearby feels uncomfortable, maybe it's time to relax a little. Robert looked slightly skeptical, but mostly agreed. They joked about how awkward it becomes when couples forget other people exist around them. Zendaya clarified that not all PDA is extreme kissing. Sometimes simple things like holding hands are perfectly normal and actually kind of sweet. The funniest part was how undecided they both remained throughout the debate. Every answer turned into "it depends." Eventually, Zendaya laughed and admitted she seemed completely neutral about almost everything in life except British food, which she continued criticizing whenever possible. Then came the final debate of the interview. Should all weddings include a free bar? Zendaya admitted she hadn't attended enough weddings to feel like an expert on wedding etiquette. She tried viewing the issue practically, pointing out that not every couple can necessarily afford unlimited drinks for guests. Robert immediately challenged her logic. He jokingly argued that if someone can afford a wedding, surely they can afford at least something simple for guests to drink. According to him, people could even just bring cheap drinks or organize something casual instead. Zendaya still hesitated. Rather than fully agreeing or disagreeing, she kept trying to understand both sides of the argument. Robert teased her for being too reasonable while he suggested ridiculous alternatives like moonshine or bring-your-own-bottle weddings. Eventually, Zendaya gave up and jokingly switched sides just because Robert made her feel guilty. And honestly, that perfectly summarized the entire interview. Every topic turned into playful chaos. Every disagreement became comedy. Every serious discussion eventually collapsed into laughter. But underneath all the jokes, what really stood out was how naturally Zendaya and Robert communicated with each other. They disagreed constantly, interrupted each other nonstop, and challenged almost every opinion, yet the energy never felt negative. Instead, it felt genuine. That authenticity is rare in celebrity interviews today. So many interviews feel rehearsed, overly polished, or carefully controlled. But this conversation felt spontaneous, unpredictable, and refreshingly human. There were awkward moments, random arguments, half-finished thoughts, unnecessary debates about potatoes and vampires. And somehow, that made everything more entertaining. People weren't watching because they needed answers about pancakes or wedding bars. They were watching because the chemistry between the two actors made even meaningless topics fun to listen to. The interview became less about the actual questions and more about the personalities behind the answers. Zendaya came across as witty, sarcastic, and playful while still staying thoughtful and calm. Robert appeared chaotic, opinionated, and hilariously stubborn in the most entertaining way possible. Together, they created the kind of conversation that feels impossible to script properly. And maybe that's why people enjoyed it so much. Because sometimes the best interviews aren't the serious ones about careers, fame, or success. Sometimes the best moments come from two people arguing passionately about pancakes, fries, vampires, and whether communication in relationships actually matters at all.